everybody. Welcome to the Fridays Ladies Bible Study, and everyone is welcome, even the men. My name is Nina, and welcome to my channel. If you haven't subscribed yet, I wish that you would and help my little channel out. Trying to grow the channel, and as anyone knows, it takes a long time. Okay, so let's get started. We're still doing the studies out of my devotional journal called The Top 100 Women of the Bible. Today's lady, her name is Ahinoam, and her story is going to be found in 1 Samuel chapter 25, verses 42 and 43. It's a very short lesson today. I'm doing the Bible reading out of my King James Version Bible. You guys use whatever Bible you have at home that you like to read and study with. And get you a pen and paper if you want to take some notes. All right, let's read the scripture first. And Abigail hasted and arose and rode upon an ass with 5 damsels of hers that went after her. And she went after the messengers of David and became his wife. David also took Ahinoam of Jezreel, and they were also, both of them, his wives. Like I said, it's a very short one today, and I've got just a few little notes written down. So let's see what we can find out about Ahinoam, okay? Nearly every time the Bible mentions Ahinoam, David's other wife, Abigail, appears too. Though Ahinoam was first married to David, the wealthy Abigail seems to overshadow her. Ahinoam didn't even come from an impressive city, for Jezreel was only a town in the hill country of Judah. Since her name means gracious, perhaps Ahinoam never made trouble, but she had to feel slighted. With David and Abigail, she traveled to find protection among the Philistines so Saul could not kill her husband. While David went to war at the Philistine king Achish's side, the Amalekites raided his home at Ziklag, capturing Ahinoam and Abigail. David returned early to rescue the women. What a joyous moment it must have been for Ahinoam to see her husband and his troops, for she might otherwise have become a slave. After Saul died, David became king of Judah, and Ahinoam bore his son Amnon. Amnon would grow up to dishonor his half-sister Tamar, but Ahinoam may never have known that. Since she's not mentioned in the story, she may no longer have been alive. Ahinoam has only a very small part in biblical history, though she was the wife of a king. She may have been quiet and faithful, getting less press than David's other wives. Like Ahinoam, can we take the back seat? Or would we become resentful, needing front page attention to be satisfied? I think you guys know my answer. No way could I take the back seat to another lady. And I've spoke on this before in the other studies when we studied about how they had the multiple wives and when it started and all that. You guys, if you haven't watched the other studies, feel free to go on back and watch them. To me, it's been very, very interesting to find out about some of these ladies in the Bible. And I've read the Bible through, but I do not ever recall hearing about this Ahinoam. But I did hear about Abigail. I guess because when I was young, I always loved the name Abigail. I even wanted to have a daughter named Abigail someday. And I never was able to have any more children after my son, naturally. Okay, let's get into some notes. All right. Just to kind of tell a little bit about the time and the stories. Most of us that grew up learning Bible stories and stuff, we had heard this story which is actually Ahinoam's son, where Amnon he ended up raping his half-sister, and her name was Tamar, which is said in the journal. So their brother Absalom is the one, he killed his brother Amnon because of the disgrace and for raping his sister. So, you know, that was a kind of an interesting thing to learn, because I had always heard that, and now to piece everything together, that's what is so cool. It's sort of like a puzzle. You know, we hear bits and pieces growing up, but when you get older and you start studying the Word, it's like a puzzle, and it all begins to fit together. And it's not a puzzle piece that you have to push and force it to fit. When it clicks in and it fits, it's like, wow, that makes the whole story beautiful. Not that rape is beautiful, I'm not saying that at all, but excuse me, but knowing the whole story before and after, to me is exciting to learn. There were, I also want to say, there were, King David had lots of sons. Now, I did read two different numbers being mentioned when I did this study. One of the books that I looked at said that he had 19 that were mentioned and 2 that were not. So by the scholars' ideas, they believe that the 2 that were unnamed had been born in Jerusalem, and they probably died in infancy. Matter of fact, they think that one of the ones that passed away during infancy was the child that Bathsheba conceived during their adulterous relationship. So the only daughter that King David had that was ever mentioned was Tamar. And so that's why I wanted to do all these studies on the females of the Bible, just because it's really cool to know that they're there for a reason, for us to learn something from. I can't wait to get to heaven someday, because I would love to just have a ring of all the women sit around and talk about some of the things that they were able to share, and maybe sitting there, maybe we'll hear Ahinoam speak about her life, because there's such a small piece, a sliver of her life in the Bible, and what happened in her life and time. So it looks like she was just a gracious and humble woman that wasn't afraid to take the back seat, as the writer said in the journal there. I think that is all that I had written down for notes. We are going to be learning next week. I'm going to go ahead and let you know who we're going to be learning about, so that if you guys want to if you want to study on it, or whatever you want to do, I'm here to try to help you, and I love to learn from you guys also. Remember, we are God's girls, and we're here to help fix each other's crowns, okay? So next week, we are going to be studying on Anna. And her story is in Luke, 2nd chapter, verses 36 through 38. So kind of give you guys a little heads up on that. So you can, if you want to study it, you can. If not, just come back Friday and we'll talk about it then, okay? All right, so that's all I have for the little Bible study today. I want to thank each and every one of you for coming. And please feel free to write down whatever you think below. If you've liked the study, or if there's a different way that you would want me to do things. Do you want me to, I don't know, study further into their families, or just keep it simple like we have been? I think it's kind of nice at around 10 minutes for me, because I know that's about a good length of time to listen and watch, and then you can look up things later on your own. So, but anyway, if you have any questions or comments, or if you ever want to email me, I always have it below our Bible studies. It's in my description box of the video. So if any of you have never checked, you go up at the top, or really at the bottom of the screen of the video, and there's a drop down little arrow. So push the arrow, it will drop down a description box, and it will tell you sometimes about each video that I'm putting up. Well, the ones that we do on the ladies Bible study, I will have the name and I don't think I've had the scripture, but that probably wouldn't be a bad idea for me to write the scripture down too, down there. And then I'll have my email. So you guys are always free to email me with any prayer requests. If you're not comfortable putting them down in the comments that you guys can leave, if you're not comfortable doing that, then email me and I will keep all of those in prayer. And if you want me to share the prayer request, I can do that, but I will only use your first name. And that way people people will know. And if you don't want me to use your name, I won't use your name. So just, add that request as you write your prayer request, okay? Say like, for instance, I actually did get a prayer request from a lady that wants her husband, they're going somewhere special to learn more about Jesus, and he is not saved. So she asked that I remember him in prayer. So I'll go ahead and pass that on to you guys. Everyone that we can have praying for this gentleman. He's a good and wonderful man, but he has not found salvation in the Lord yet. So remember him in prayer. And I'm not going to say any names because I didn't ask permission for first names. So we'll just leave it at that, okay? So we'll consider that our first prayer request. And maybe we'll just do this every week if anyone has a prayer request, something special on your heart, okay? All right, thanks everybody again for coming and watching. And just think tomorrow, September the 1st, 2018. And to me, it's just like, wow, life goes by fast. So let's try to learn a little bit while we're here and help a little bit while we can, okay? Okay, love you all for being here. I truly do. Thank you all for just taking the time out to listen and watch me, and let's learn together, all right? And once again, God bless you all. Have a great, great day. Bye-bye.